I am back out at Hardy Falls, and I visited this location last week. If you haven't seen the video, I'll link it right here. I wanted to come back because I wasn't happy with the photos that I got. The sun was just not helping me at all, and I didn't really care for, I just didn't get any good photographs. So I'm back, and I wanted to also show you the difference the sun makes as well. So visiting a location more than once can really improve your photography and teach you a lot about it, where the sun is going to be and what it's doing and what's going to be the best possible light for your photographs. So last week's video, I really was attracted down in here. These tops of these trees were really being lit by the sun, and I really liked it, but it didn't work at all because it was just too bright. And I'll put the photo up so you can see it. And also, I just took a shot again that might work better, maybe not. I don't think it's awesome, but it's definitely better than last week. So I'm going to show you the two photos side by side so you can see just the dramatic difference as far as what that backlit sun was doing and how what I think is going to be a better photograph today. I don't think it's a great photo, but it's definitely better. To be honest, neither photo is very good. The one on the left at least has some light interest up in the top of the trees, but everything else in the photograph falls short. The one on the right is a better composition, and at least the stream and the grass or the moss and all the greens is much more pronounced, but the lighting is way too flat and it just doesn't work. So I'm at the little bitty waterfall with the trunk, the tree that goes into the water with a little fern. And again, if you haven't watched my previous week's video, check that out. But I wanted to revisit it again, and looking at it and all of the stuff around it, I really don't think it'll work no matter what I do, unless I were to come in here with some pruning shears and a way to declutter a lot of the scene. All this deadfall and just clutter in there, clutter on the top, and there's just not enough of a strong focal point to really make it work, because the tree is about the same size. That tree trunk coming down is about the same size as the water, that little waterfall. And there's just so much deadfall around it and just unattractive things that I'm not going to bother shooting this again. It's not going to make a really good photograph, even though it's really, really pretty. So let's move on. Found another little spot that's nice. Little cascading waterfall that's coming down from a really big one that's just shooting out. So I've got hopefully you can see it on the back of the camera. There's a nice tree up at the top right that's going to help me frame it. The water's coming in from that direction as well. It's coming straight toward the camera. And in the lower left, I've got a log that's going to help with my, leading the eye in. And then the water flow is going out at the bottom right. Now I'm just getting a good shutter speed, about a 15th of a second, believe it or not. That's pretty quick, but that water doesn't have far to fall, and it's a lot of it. So I've taken it like at a 1/6 of a second, an 1/8, a 1/10, all the way up to a 15th, and I'll pick for sure once I get back on the computer. But right now, the 1/15 looks really, really good on the back of the camera. So if it comes out, I'll show it to you right now. Back at Hardy Falls, and the water flow is even more than when I was here just a few weeks ago. We've had more rain, and I'm going to try to get a photograph. I'm definitely going to improve my composition than over the previous visit, but the water flow might be just too much because there's just too much water. It's not going to make a really good or great photograph because the sheer amount of water that's coming, and trying to find a shutter speed that doesn't just produce a huge amount of mush versus, totally frozen. might not be doable. So I'm going to try a bunch of different shutter speeds and a much tighter composition, just picking out bits and pieces of the waterfall versus trying to get all of it or most of it, and then go from there, and we'll see how it's going to turn out. This is my photo from a couple of weeks ago, and the vertical composition just doesn't work because it draws the eye up to the top to the brightest part of the image, which is also the least interesting. This time I decided to do a horizontal composition, and I think it works a lot better than a vertical one in this instance. The waterfall is much more pronounced, it's a lot closer to the camera, and it's the subject of the photo, so it really starts to fill the frame nicely. This last photograph is by far my favorite. It's still horizontal, but it's a little bit wider of an angle. I included some trees on the right-hand side and a little bit on the left, and I think it just frames the waterfall a lot better than my previous composition. I love the glow at the top of the waterfall caused by all of the mist, and I warmed the photo up just a little bit. Overall, I think this one is by far the best shot of the day. Appreciate you watching the video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos, and we'll see you next time.